The next thing we're going to consider is solving equations with two absolute values. So take a look at number 4. It says solve each equation and then check your solution. So letter A, we have the absolute value of x plus 8 equals the absolute value of 2x plus 1. Now, if we can, with one absolute value, we try to usually put it on the left, and then we set it equal to the positive version and then the negative version. This isn't so different. We're going to do the same thing. So I'm still going to have x plus 8, and I'm going to drop the absolute value, and I'm going to set it equal to the positive version of the right-hand side. Great. Then we're going to have x plus 8, and I'm going to set it equal to the negative version of the right-hand side. But in this case, we don't just have a number here. We actually have 2x plus 1, which is multiple terms. So in order to do that, we need to put this in parentheses so that we're actually taking the negative version of the whole entire side. Other than that, we're good to go. So moving on, I'm going to try to get all of my variables on the same side. I'm going to choose to subtract x so that my variable remains positive. 8 equals x plus 1. Then I'm going to subtract 1. So 7 equals x. Moving on, before I can start to solve this one, I actually need to simplify. So x plus 8 equals, we're going to distribute our negative, so negative 2x minus 1. Okay, this is just a negative 1. Negative 1 times 2x is negative 2x. Negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1. Now, same as before, I'm going to try to get all my variables on one side. This time, I'm going to add 2x so that I can keep my variables positive. This is going to give me 3x plus 8 equals negative 1. Then I'm going to subtract my 8. That's going to give us 3x equals negative 9. Then I'm going to divide by 3, which is going to get me x equals negative 3. Last but not least, we're going to check our solutions. So the first one I'm going to start with is my x equals 7. So we're going to have the absolute value of 7 plus 8 equals the absolute value of 2 times 7 plus 1. Let's see if this works. So 7 plus 8 is the absolute value of 15. 2 times 7 is 14 plus 1 is 15. The absolute value of 15 is 15. The absolute value of 15 is 15. That first answer checks out. Let's try the second one, negative 3. So we have the absolute value of negative 3 plus 8 equals 2. Sorry, don't forget your absolute value bar. So the absolute value of 2 times negative 3 plus 1. So negative 3 plus 8 is 5. And then negative 3 times 2 is negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5. The absolute value of 5 is 5. The absolute value of negative 5 is also 5. So our second solution works. Letter B. 3 times the absolute value of x minus 4 equals the absolute value of 2x plus 5. Now, once again, do not forget that you cannot distribute over an absolute value. So at this point in time, there's really not a whole lot you can do with this equation. We're going to leave the 3 where it is. We're going to leave everything else where it is. And we're just going to follow the same set of rules we've been doing before. So I'm going to take the left-hand side. I'm going to drop the absolute value bars. And I'm just going to write 3 times. And notice I'm going to replace these with now parentheses. It is a quantity. You're taking 3 times the whole thing. So we need to have that. Equals the positive version of the right-hand side. Or 3 times x minus 4, this time with parentheses, equals the negative version of the right-hand side. And remember, when we do the negative version, you need parentheses because you're taking the negative of the whole thing. Okay, now when I go to solve this, notice these are not absolute value bars anymore, so you can distribute. 3x minus 12 equals 2x plus 5. Subtract 2x, subtract 2x. X minus 12 equals 5. Add 12, add 12. X equals 17. Next one. Again, now we can distribute the 3 because the absolute value bars are gone. So 3x minus 12 equals, also going to distribute the negative. So again, this is like a negative 1. So negative 1 times 2x is negative 2x. Negative 1 times 5 is negative 5. This time I'm going to add 2x. So 5x minus 12 equals negative 5. Add 12. Add 12. 5x equals 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. X equals 7/5. And again, we can leave our answer like that. If we wanted to convert it, that's fine. But I'm going to leave it like that. First one we're going to check, x equals 17. So 3 times the absolute value of 17 minus 4 equals the absolute value of 2 times 17 plus 5. 17 minus 4, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 13. So we've got 3 times the absolute value of 13 equals 2 times 17 is 34, plus 5 is 39. So we're looking at the absolute value of 39. The absolute value of 13 is just 13. So 3 times 13 is 39 equals 39. And that checks out. Okay, next one, and this is going to look messy, but we're going to do it anyway. X equals 7/5. We've got to substitute that back in there. So 3 times the absolute value of 7/5 minus 4 equals the absolute value of 2 times 7/5 plus 5. Now, this one, honestly, I don't expect you to do by hand. I wouldn't even want to do this by hand. It's just nasty. So, go down here, grab your web browser. Remember our old friend, Desmos.com? So, I'm going to go back, Desmos.com. Under Math Tools, Scientific Calculator. Absolute value button is right here. So I'm first going to do the left side of the equation only. 3 times the absolute value of 7 divided by 5. Then I'm going to hit my side arrow key and then type in minus 4. Enter 7.8. Now I'm going to type in the right side of my equation. So the absolute value of 2 times 7 divided by 5. And then my side arrow key, plus 5. Hit enter, also 7.8. If we wanted those answers as fractions, you could just turn them into fractions, 39/5. But what that's telling me is the left side of the equation does equal the right side of the equation. So check, and our solution is good.